Thank you, Peter, for inviting me here. I've worked with Peter for many years, and it's always been exciting and great celebration of life and what we do. Now, Lifeguard is a pro-life Christian organization, and our mission is dedicated to ending abortion in the capital area through prayer and sidewalk counseling to save both the lives of the mother and the child on the front lines where the killing takes place. So we are the last-ditch effort, the 911 call, the last silent scream of those babies for help. So we are out there every morning, Saturday mornings, and now we're hitting, at least in the Fairfax area, every day where they do abortions. So when David B. Wright in 2007 brought to my attention the 40 Days for Life campaign, I was so excited. I had like my fire in my belly. I said, oh my gosh, we got to do this. So I was telling my friend in D.C., Missy Smith, you got to do this in D.C. because the 40 Days for Life program gets more people on the front lines. And I know from my experience as a sidewalk counselor, the more people we have out there praying, and that's very important, that we have people in prayer so that they're physically present there, more lives will be saved. So what is the 40 Days for Life? I see a lot of 40 Days for Life members here who I've worked with. But 40 Days for Life has a very easy concept. There's 3 components. Prayer and fasting, which is so important. Again, prayer, without prayer we can't do anything, and our whole dependence is upon God. All the good that we do is through God. We work for God. We are on the winning side. And also through fasting, because there are some demons that cannot be cast out, but only through our fasting. So we give up something. We sacrifice. And you can sacrifice every day. You know, Bishop Shinn, I'm Catholic, he said, in order to become holy, all you have to do is try to give up 3 things every day, that you'll become holy, you'll be sanctified. Because you are in self-denial, and by self-denial, you're learning to control yourself, and through prayer and also self-denial, many graces come and you become a more holy person. And as the more you become holy, the more effective you can become as a sidewalk counselor. So, and the second component is peaceful vigil. This is the part that I think most people, when they hear that you're going to pray out in front of an abortion mill, they are so scared. And because I've been doing this for about 20-some years since college, I understand sometimes, I understand when I have to think about, oh yeah, how I felt when I was first out on the front lines. But people tend to think that you're going to see a bunch of crazy zealots, religious zealots, screaming and shouting. But 40 Days for Life is peaceful and prayerful. We don't ask anybody to say anything. We only ask that you come out there. I think that's the hardest part, is getting from A to B, from your home, from your work, to the front lines, because it is a bit of a sacrifice. You always have, especially in this area with all this traffic, you have to fight, traffic. So getting there is probably but the hardest thing. But once there, I find myself, this is a great place for prayer, because the only thing you have is this abortion mill in front of you, and that's your entire focus. So in terms of focused prayer, my prayer is there against abortion. To convert the abortion industry workers there, to convert the mother who's there, scheduled for an abortion. So it's all peaceful, and all you have to do is just get there. That's the important thing. And then pray. And once you get there, you will become an effective instrument of Jesus Christ. Because if you weren't there, they would not see you as the sign. And I know a college student came back from Front Royale. He stood out in Planned Parenthood, and he tried to sidewalk counsel. A couple went through. He tried talking to them. They didn't want to receive the literature, and they went up. So he just started to pray the rosary. It's a very strong, visible sign, and as Catholics, the rosary is one of our weapons of prayer. So he's praying and praying out there, and then all of a sudden the couple come down, and they drive, and they stop. And they said, well, we decided not to do it. We decided to save the child. And he said, well, why? So what made you decide? And they said, and they saw him from the third floor. And they told him, I saw you downstairs and you were praying. And I knew that you were praying for us and we just couldn't do it. So that's so powerful that you are a sign there. I know some people say, can I just pray at home? Yes, of course you can pray at home. We want you to pray at home, but we also want you to pray, if you can, if you're mobile, to be on the front lines because they will see you. So the peaceful vigil, that's the public witness of the second component of the 40 Days for Life. And the third one is community outreach. The community outreach for us is being there when people walk by and ask, why are you here? It was interesting. Just yesterday I was outside standing in for one of the slots there, and one of the guys came up from the office building and he says, why are you guys out here? And we had this young girl, she's only 15, and she says, well, we're here to pray, to save these babies. And the guy looked at her and he said, well, what about capital punishment? And he kind of rolls his eyes. And I knew where he was getting at, but I wanted to not let him know what I knew what he was getting at. And so I told him I said, the Catholic Church, and I'm Catholic, there is a just cause for capital punishment, but the Holy Father has said our culture is so saturated with death. If that person is convicted of a crime, then don't kill him. Go ahead, give him life imprisonment. And then he just opened up, and then he said, well, yeah, that's right, that's very good. And so we got into this conversation, and the more we talked about how that abortion mill, we now have signs that say this abortion mill kills 3,500 babies. And he saw the sign that said, Nova Women's Healthcare kills babies. That's one of the signs we put out there. And he said, he goes, I'm ready to do, I'm supposed to upholster their place. And he goes, maybe I shouldn't do it. Maybe I shouldn't accept their payment. And I said, yes, because if you accept their payment, that's blood money. And then he just went back to there. So we are ministers out on those front lines just by being there. So it's important to reach out the community that way, even if you're there, if you want to engage some of the people. And when you engage people, we always say, don't get confrontational. And if they say nasty things, just say, God bless you. They say the F word. And the young girl that was 15 there, we had so much traffic there. There were high school girls that were giving her a hard time, and she said, I didn't know what to do. And she goes, I didn't want to say anything. So I just kept smiling, So that's a great way. I said, well, next time if they say something and you want to say something, just say, God bless you. Because that's just a beautiful way to counter their evil ways. Because a lot of times these young kids don't even know what they're doing. They don't know how evil it is. And really, the way we confront them, we are confronting them as Christians. And so if they see us witness peacefully, we are reaching out to the community. So the 40 Days for Life is a great, great program. And the most important thing that we see there, I'd have to say that we are winning. We are ending abortion there because we end abortion every time we are out there. We do see people leave, and we do see people turn around. And I have 3 examples to show what those abortion the conversions from abortion are. I know we do fight the fight, but we also win. And the win, like I said, is not ours, it's God's. And so we thank Him for using us for those wins. So just the first day, 40 Days for Life, we had a recent save. A baby's life was saved. A young couple was walking in the front, and this is from one of the prayer warriors. I wasn't there. But he calls me up and he's so excited. Guess what? He goes, a couple turned around, they saved their child. And I said, well, what happened? He said, well, they kind of parked in the back, but they didn't go through the back, they went through the front. And one of the women there said, we have some help available. And all of a sudden the couple just came to them. And that's what prayer does, you become a magnet. And they said, well, we saw your sign. And the sign that he carries, as some of you have seen him, it says, "Pray to end abortion." He has a cross on top, and on the other side of the sign it says, "Let us help you choose life." So it's so important to see that baby was saved, and we didn't write a letter to, the legislature to win that one. You only had to be there present that day, and a baby's life was saved. And then just recently, just 2 weeks ago, Brian's in the back there. He's a big guy, and he always stands with probably the biggest sign out there. So a prayer warrior, a great prayer warrior, so he's out there. And just recently, they asked him to move his sign away from this grassy area onto the sidewalk. I guess we're, making an impact there. So he moves 5 feet, so now he's on the sidewalk there. And so what happens, it's a blessing in a way, because now we have cars that are coming because they think the abortion parking lot is, they have to bypass his sign. That's the entrance way. It kind of is like a welcoming sign to go right there. So what we try to do is we try to catch the women going into that parking lot so we can reach out to them before they enter to the abortion mill. So what Brian did, he had his pro-life literature, he hands it over, and the girl just stops. And he talks to her, and then she goes in and she takes off. She's moving super fast, but it was a miracle in a way, the way she just stopped and actually listened to Brian. And so 15 minutes later, she comes out, and she's smiling. She has this big smile, and she said, "We didn't do it. We didn't do it." And we're going, praise God. So even though we know that there's 3,500 babies being killed there yearly, we know we are also saving lives. So it's important that we go out there on the front lines and pray. And if you go out there, you will start to see the miracles that are performed there. Thank you very much.